Can you imagine a preacher in today's world saying, hey, don't give in the offering until you make peace with someone against you? Well, Jesus said to do that. Jesus said, make peace first. Good morning and welcome to 755 Live. For about 5 minutes, you'll hear all about easy to remember soundbite versions of what Jesus said. And the point is to help you experience life to the fullest, the Jesus way. Today's Jesus said comes from Matthew 5, verses 23 through 24. And you can find these commands of Jesus at our weekday Bible plan at bible.today.church. For some context, we're going to start in verse 21 of Matthew 5 and reading today from the NET translation. You have heard that it was said to an older generation, do not murder, and whoever murders will be subjected to judgment. But I say to you that anyone who is angry with a brother will be subjected to judgment, and whoever insults a brother will be brought before the council, and whoever says fool will be sent to fiery hell. Now, before we go on, let's just unpack that just a minute and compare that to social media today. Okay, that's not the topic. Let's go on. Verse 23. So then, if you bring your gift to the altar, and there remember that your brother has something against you, leave your gift there in front of the altar. First, go and be reconciled to your brother, and then come and present your gift. Reach agreement quickly with your accuser while on the way to court, or he may hand you over to the judge, and the judge hand you over to the warden, and you will be thrown into prison. I tell you the truth, you will never get out of there until you have paid the last penny. Now, these passages that we just read kind of have a similar theme. And whenever we talk about giving, talk about money, talk about offerings, a lot of people's radar goes up. But I think one point that Jesus is making here is that God doesn't really need your money. Giving isn't about like paying your membership fees or like a tax. It's about our heart. And the gift here was a temple sacrifice. It was a part of the worship experience in the culture of the day. And sometimes we can get caught up in the gift, in how we worship even, and not in what Jesus said is more important, reconciliation. And this may not seem related, but I believe it is. In Matthew 9, verses 11 through 13, there's a question from the religious people of the day asking the disciples why their teacher was hanging out with and eating with tax collectors and sinners, those who didn't fit into the religious mold. And Jesus in verse 12 said, those that are healthy don't need a physician, but those who are sick do. And then he told them to go and learn what this saying meant. I want mercy, not sacrifice. For I did not come to call the righteous, but sinners. Now, in the same principle is where Jesus quoted Hosea 6:6. I desire mercy and not sacrifice. This mercy is kindness, and the meaning of the Hebrew word there in Hosea, it implies restoration and reconciliation. Because part of mercy is empathy for others. And that empathy should lead us to want to reconcile. And Jesus is using an extreme example here, saying even when you're trying to give to God, even when you're worshiping, make sure that mercy is first. Make sure that you make peace first. In Romans 12, 15 through 18, Paul is talking about this kind of empathy where he says, rejoice with those who rejoice, weep with those who weep. Live in harmony with one another. Do not be haughty, but associate with the lowly. Do not be conceited. Do not repay anyone evil for evil. Consider what is good before all people. If possible, so far as it depends on you, live peaceably with all people. Everybody. I mean, that's pretty intense there. But reconciliation is the real gift. And hypocrisy, like those that Jesus was confronting when they asked him why he ate with sinners, hypocrisy justifies itself by condemning others. Jesus said, love your neighbor. And hypocrisy said, well, who's my neighbor? Who's my brother? But our call to action is reconciliation. Galatians 6 tells us to reconcile in a spirit of meekness, considering others. 2 Corinthians 5:18 tells us that we all are given this ministry or this servanthood of reconciliation. And sacrifice isn't to get mercy, it's to remind us of mercy so we can be merciful to others. So as we give sacrificially, as we worship by making God our priority, we need to understand that it is also about mercy. And that's why Jesus said, make peace first. How can you put that into action today? Thank you so much for listening. If this is meaningful to you, it really does mean a lot. If you like it, if you share it, if you comment, just can't tell you how much I appreciate you. I hope that you have an amazing day. And I hope this time together has helped you live life to the fullest, the Jesus way. And remember, follow Jesus today. Love first.